Ladies and gentlemen, I am happily announcing that for the first time, a video that I've made on my channel has hit 1,000 views. Now, this is the video I uploaded a month ago. Within a month, that's how long it took to get to 1,000 views. But for me, I'm really proud because I'm such a small channel. So, uh, and I don't know how hard it is to get, but I'm proud of it. So thank you very much if you did watch it. Uh, I'm up to 1,012 views total. I just looked on my YouTube studio, so that's how much I'm at right now, or at least as I looked a few hours ago. But I'm probably at more now, but not by too much because it was felt like a slow process, but it was a month, so but yeah, it really is good to I like looking at my channel and seeing the video I uploaded and it says 1K views. So I'm gonna get into the actual video now. So with that, we're on to our week 10 reaction results and reaction for me and week 11 predictions. Now I'm sorry it took me so long to make this video. I wanted to wait for the rankings to come out, uh, the college football playoff rankings. Uh, and Michigan is now at number 4. So as long as we win out, we're in. Now I did not expect us to be in this spot at all this year. I expected that for next year. But we'll see what happens next year. I hope next year's not disappointing, but because this could be our only chance. So, uh, week 10. Let's start with the first game. Now, I would say I did pretty good. I got most of the games predicted correctly. Nebraska and Ohio State, though, I expected a blowout for Ohio State. They went into this game, I want to say 18 point favorites, and they won by 5. 36-31 Ohio State. Rather unimpressive performance. In fact, Nebraska actually led Ohio State at halftime, 21-17. So, and then Ohio State scored a couple times. It looked like they were dominating, and then it was back and forth, kinda. So Nebraska caught up again, but it was not enough. They could not hold on to the win or hold on to the to the to hold on to the win. So, but Nebraska's now 2-7, and they, just like Rutgers, can't make a bowl game now. The one of two teams in the Big Ten who can't make a conference game, uh, bowl game, because they are now 2-7. Even if they win the rest of their games, they're going to uh, only end the season 5-7. So we'll see what happens with them next year, though, because I believe Nebraska will do better next year. Rutgers and Wisconsin, rather unimpressive performance by Wisconsin, too. I mean, Rutgers is a terrible team, and Wisconsin, I wouldn't say is great, but uh, they were better than Rutgers, obviously. They led the entire game. They only led like 10-0 at halftime, which is weird to me. But Wisconsin wins 31-17. It kind of reminds me of Wisconsin. The Wisconsin of 2018 kind of reminds me of the Michigan of 2017. They're kind of just they have a winning record. They're going to end the season possibly with our winning record, but it's going to be a rather unimpressive performance, and they're going to lose to ranked teams. So, yeah, that's where Wisconsin is now. I think they're the 2017 Michigan team. Just, I don't know, barely getting by. Michigan State and Maryland. I expected this one to be closer. I had, and so far I've gotten every game right. I predicted Michigan State, and I was right, but I expected it to be closer. Now they went into this game. Michigan State, I believe, was the favorite by like maybe 7 or something, but they won 24-3. They held Maryland to pretty much nothing. just a field goal. So Michigan State gets the win, and they are now bowl eligible. Iowa and Purdue. Purdue beat Ohio State by 29. Came back the next week, lost to Michigan State, and then they come back again this week and they beat Iowa. This is where I got it wrong. I had Purdue losing this game, but Purdue wins 38-36 in a last-second field goal because it was 36-35, and Purdue kicked a field goal to win it. So I really hope Purdue wins the rest of their games because I've got nothing against Purdue, and we don't play them. So, so I hope they win the rest of their games. I'm rooting for them. Minnesota and Illinois. Illinois dominated. I expected it to be close, and I think I had Illinois winning. I can't remember. This is the game that I didn't care about at all, but Illinois wins 55-31. I wanted to say 48 for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why I wanted to say 48, but they win 55-31. And yeah. The Illinois defense is crap, so that's why they allowed 31. But I guess Minnesota's defense is crappier because they allowed 55. So, or maybe there were some of them off of interceptions. I don't know. I didn't watch the game, so. But I didn't expect it to be like this. I thought that maybe it would be high scoring, but it would be more even. So I was right about the high scoring part, but it was the one team outscoring the other team by over 20 points. Number 14, Penn State at number 5, Michigan. Michigan dominated. They led 42-0 with 1:59 left, and they let Penn State score with their backups in. Michigan wins 42-7, and I'm really happy about it. We got Rutgers next, so, and I'm not really worried about it. Notre Dame and Northwestern. Notre Dame, obviously number 4, were last week, and they are now number 3. So, but Notre Dame wins 31-21, and they end Northwestern's, I want to say, 4 or 5 game winning streak. Notre Dame's undefeated still, too. And the bye week was for Indiana. They had their bye week. They will play this week. So let's get to our predictions for week 11. The first game is number 10 Ohio State at number 18 Michigan State. Now, I'm going to say, with the way Ohio State's offense has been struggling and the way Michigan State's defense does things, I'm going to say it's going to be tough for Ohio State to score. But with the way Michigan State's offense runs, and even though Ohio State's defense isn't the greatest, I think it's going to be a situation where it's very low scoring, but Ohio State's going to pull away, and they're going to get the last laugh, and they're going to win this one in a low scoring game. That's what I think is going to happen. But Ohio State wins this, I'm going to say. And I'm not just saying that because they're ranked higher. I'm saying this because I legitimately think, I thought about this, and I could be wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be low scoring, and Ohio State's going to win by like 7 by a touchdown. Maybe 6. Wisconsin and Penn State with, I think, Penn State has Trace McSorley will play apparently. I don't know how much of a good idea that is with his knee, but he didn't have the greatest game against Michigan, but Michigan's defense doesn't allow a quarterback to have a very great day anyway. So Penn State, I don't think they'll struggle as much, obviously. But I definitely, with Wisconsin's really good offense and the really bad. I would not really bad, but not as good defense as Penn State. I definitely think Penn State's defense is not that great, but I'm gonna go with Penn State. I think it's gonna I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be close, and it's gonna be like a Michigan State Penn State kind of thing, and it's gonna be kind of back and forth, but not a lot of scoring. And it'll be like I don't know. It'll be kind of like a Penn State Michigan State situation where it's kind of we're really back and forth, but Penn State's gonna pull away, just like Ohio State with Michigan State. I don't know. These are some good matchups. Illinois, Nebraska. I'm going with Nebraska here with the crap defense of Illinois. Nebraska's improving offense. I think the way that they dominated Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota is not great. Illinois dominated Nebraska, and Nebraska dominated Minnesota. Or I'm sorry, Illinois dominated Minnesota, and so did Nebraska. But because because I would say Illinois allowed more points than Nebraska did, I'm going with Nebraska. And I think they're like a 17-point favorite. So that should give you a clue. But I'm going with Nebraska anyway because, they're hungry, obviously. And Illinois doesn't have a great defense. So you can't, if you don't have a good defense, it's very hard to win games. Defense wins championships. That's a real thing. I mean, if you don't have if you have a crap offense and a really great defense, every game you play in will probably be low scoring, and that's kind of how it was for Michigan. It was really tough because we would hold these teams to like very little points, but because we get tired and they've got a better offense than our offense, they're able to pull away with some points and win the game. That's why the Michigan State game last year was so low scoring. I think it'll be kind of like that, but Nebraska's gonna beat Illinois by a lot. I think it's gonna be by a lot. So I got Nebraska. Maryland and Indiana. Uh, I don't know. This is a tough one. This is a tough one to me. Maryland's got a great running game. Indiana, they gave Penn State a challenge, but I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be. I'm gonna go with Maryland. They've got a better record. They've got a great offense, so I'm gonna go with Maryland because of that, because they can put points on the board. In Indiana, I really don't know much about Indiana. They gave Penn State a challenge, but Penn State, doesn't have the greatest defense. So I don't know really what that I don't know really what that means. So I'm going to go with Maryland. I think they're going to be able to put points up on Indiana, and Indiana's going to score some. I think it'll be like a Wisconsin Rutgers kind of situation. It'll be like 31-17 or 38-31 or something like that. So uh, it's going to be something like that, somewhere 30 some points being scored on each team, but Maryland's going to win. So that's what I think is going to happen. Do I need to talk about this game? So in 2016, when Michigan played Rutgers and won 78-0, Michigan was actually ranked number 4. And here we are in the same situation as that game. Michigan's number 4, hungrier this year, and probably better than the 2016 team. You have a Rutgers team that's won their first game and has lost ever since, and lost 8 straight. Then you've got a Michigan team who's lost the first game to the third ranked team in the nation by 7 points and has won 8 straight, dominating. We've got a Rutgers team that allowed 55 points against Kansas. We've got a Michigan team that held Penn State to almost nothing. And we've got out of 130 teams in the FBS, we've got a Rutgers offense that ranks 127th. And on the defensive side, we've got a Michigan team that ranks number 1. Uh, and has allowed some elite quarterbacks to very little. Michigan's going into this as 40-point favorites. I don't understand why it's not. I don't know. I don't understand why we're below 50. But I'm going with Michigan, obviously. And I expected this to be a night game. That's the only thing that needed to change. If this was a night game, it would have been exactly like the 2016 game, besides the week that's being played on. But still, this is basically the same situation, only with a better Michigan team. Honestly, I think Michigan's a better team this year than they were in 2016. Because in 2016, yeah, they had a great defense, and but they had an offense that was kind of eh. This year they've got a dangerous offense, a defense that's probably the best Don Brown's ever had for Michigan, and we're on a revenge tour. Rutgers isn't really a part of the revenge tour, but it's mainly about rivals: Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State, stuff like that. Wisconsin, because they beat us last year, but we and you know, it's gonna. I think it's gonna be something like the 2016 game. It's gonna be a dominating game, and it's not even gonna matter. Like Michigan's not gonna hold back or slow down or just just barely try, only put half effort. They're gonna make the other team suffer, and it's not. There's no exception for Rutgers. Rutgers is gonna suffer. So Michigan wins big here, really big. Northwestern and Iowa. Got myself fired up. Northwestern and Iowa. Now, kind of a we've got a decent Iowa team. They're still ranked somehow, but they are number 21. Northwestern is still unranked, even though I would say they've got a more impressive resume, like actually beating Wisconsin while Iowa didn't. And so for that reason, I think Northwestern's going to get back on track and continue to win in conference play. I got Northwestern on this one. And if I'm wrong, well, screw me then. Purdue and Minnesota. Purdue wins big. I don't need to explain that. Minnesota couldn't do crap to Ohio State, at least not in the second half. Purdue led pretty much the entire game against Ohio State and won by 29 points. That should be a good indication. And, Purdue, I don't know. Another thing about Iowa, they lost to Penn State, and I kind of think Penn State's a little overrated. So Northwestern's going to win for that reason. So Purdue, but back to Purdue and Minnesota. Minnesota's a crap team. They're terrible. They lose to Illinois. They lose to, they lose. Who else did they lose to? They lose to other crap teams. So I got Purdue winning big here. Is that it? And yeah, so let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So all 14 Big Ten teams are playing this week. There is no bye week. So every team is playing. We got a full week of Big Ten play. So let me show you the updated rankings, and then we'll get out of here. So as always, if you look on the bottom of the screen, you can see Michigan from last week. They're still 7-1 after the bye week. This week, after playing Penn State, I'm going to try and calm myself down a little bit. These are the rankings from last week. Michigan is still going to remain number 1, obviously, because of their dominating performance. They're 8-1 now. That's their 8th straight win. Ohio State got the win, not in impressive fashion, but Ohio State stays at 2 because they did win. 3 is Northwestern from last week. This week they lost, but they lost by 10, but to the third ranked team. So I'm gonna keep them at 3 for that reason, and because number 4 is Michigan State, because Northwestern beat Michigan State. So Northwestern or Penn State was last week. They're at 4 after losing to Michigan 42-7. They go from 4 to 6. Iowa lost to Purdue, so they went from 5 to 7. Michigan State, obviously they won, so they went from 6 to 4. 7 was Purdue last week. They were 4-4, and I was like, okay, well they're only still decent. But then they come and they beat Iowa, so Purdue goes up from 7 to 5. Uh, Wisconsin is at 8. They go from 8. They beat Rutgers in rather unimpressive fashion, so they just stayed at 8. Uh, Maryland was at 9. They got basically killed by Michigan State. So, what in the world? My phone's not reacting to anything that I'm doing now. Okay. Oh, it's doing it again. All right, Maryland was at 9 last week. They got killed by Michigan State. They went down. Where are they? Oh, 10. They're at 10. So they only went down one spot. But Minnesota was at 10, obviously, after getting destroyed. They went down to 13. They got destroyed by Illinois. They went down to 13. Also because Nebraska's ahead of them because they beat Minnesota. So Minnesota went down to 13 for that. 11 was Indiana. They had a bye week, so I think they stayed. No, they went up to 9. That's just how it works. So they went up 2 spots for doing nothing. Nebraska lost to Ohio State by 5, so they go from 12 to 12. They didn't move. Illinois was at 13 last week. They got the win, so they went up to 11. Still have a losing record, but they got the win, so they're at 11 now. And Rutgers, obviously, has lost 8 straight, so they will remain at the bottom of the barrel of the Big Ten. And they're still in last, 1-8. So we've got the worst team playing against the best, at least according to the rankings this week, Michigan and Rutgers. So the game's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a bloodbath, and that's my honest opinion. And I don't really like to talk crap about the other team, but in this case, they're what do you want me to say that oh, maybe Rutgers has a chance? No, they don't. They've got no chance. Absolutely, absolutely zero chance. So, yeah. So that's my video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next. And also, I'm recording this on Thursday, so you guys will be seeing this tomorrow, on Friday, because it's 7 o'clock, and I don't want to upload a video like 8 or 9. That's just ridiculous. Everyone's going to sleep by then. At least some people are. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.